sunroom. My name is Gina, and welcome to the Library Mouse. Someone asked me where I got that, the name for my channel, and it's funny. I knew I was doing a booktube, and so I Googled phrases for people who like to read, and so many really good ones came up. The one that I absolutely loved, and I can't remember what country it was from, was ink drinker. And it didn't fit for me. Library Mouse fits my personality and my vibe. But I thought ink drinker would be the coolest YouTube channel name. There was a page mage, and a library rat, and a library mouse. So yeah, that's how I came up with the Library Mouse. And today I thought that I would go ahead and do a January book haul. So generally, I don't go out every month and buy books to read. I might buy a book or two, but I generally don't go and buy a bunch of books. But I've never really been focused on a reading goal like I'm trying to be this year. In the past, I would put my reading goal into Goodreads and then forget about it because it was on my tablet. I never got an accurate count of the books that I was reading or the genres that I was reading. And you know, my dad was a reader, and he would always keep just a little piece of notepaper as a bookmark in his book that he was reading. And when he got finished with the book, he would write it down. And he would just use that bookmark for the next book. And yeah, he inspired me to keep track of my reading. So this year, I actually made a reading journal where I can keep track every month of the books that I read. And I will definitely share that on another video because I've never made a reading journal before. It was really fun, and it was very creative and a really nice outlet. So my goal is 5 books a month. I have 6 spaces in my reading journal just in case I do more than that. If I don't read 5 books, it's not going to upset me. I put 5 because I thought it would inspire me to do more than like scroll or watch YouTube or just mindless. You know, just the mindless screen time. I figured it would be better to be reading. So if I know in the back of my mind I have 5 books to read, stop looking at Facebook, Gina, and go get your book. That's what I'm hoping it inspires me to do. So that being said, so this month I wound up with 5 physical books as a haul. And then I am reading a book that I got from the New York Public Library overdrive system. I don't know how many I'll finish. But let me share the books that I did haul. So the first book is the only one besides the library one that I did not get at a thrift store. And I am not going to do book review today. I thought that when I was done at the end of January, I'll just do a video on a review of the books that I actually read. But I can give you kind of a short synopsis of what each of these books is about and see if it floats your boat. So this was an Oprah's Book Club 2022 pick. It is called Nightcrawling. I hope I'm not botching her name, Leila Motley. So this book I would not have picked for myself. It would not have caught my attention in a bookstore. My sister bought it. Generally, she only reads Kristen Hanna. She's a one-author reader, and she just reads her books over and over and over again. Why she bought this, I don't know, because it is the total opposite of, I think, Kristen Hanna. But I started it and I put it down because it was so different for me. Then I picked it back up again, and I finished it because once I really sat down and immersed myself in this book, it was very good. It was very good. So let me just really quick, I can tell you, it's about Kiara and her brother Marcus. They live in East Oakland. They are high school dropouts. Marcus wants to be a rap star, which leaves Kiara, she's only 17, responsible for finding money to keep them pretty much, from being on the streets. And she's kind of taking care of this little boy next door who's basically abandoned by his mother. And so she starts nightcrawling to make money, and then winds up in a scandal with the Oakland Police Department. It is very good. So I have finished this. The other book that I finished was this book from the thrift store, Jodi Picoult. Let me put my coffee down. It's getting cold anyway. Let me see when this was written. This is Lone Wolf. And I do like Jodi Picoult books. Sometimes I'm not too happy. This is a 2012. Like I said, I usually don't read trendy books when they're trendy. I just read them when I find them. So I did love it. I really liked this book. I guess I can't say that I loved it. Did it keep me turning the pages? Yes. Did I skim a lot? Yes. There's parts of the book that impart so much knowledge, so much research, that I found myself skimming that part just to get to the part of the plot. Although the research does have to do with the plot. Anyway, it's basically about a young girl and her father. He basically is a caretaker at like a wolf sanctuary, but he's really puts himself into the wolves' lives. He basically left his family to live with wolves. And there was an accident, and he's now in the hospital on life support. And it really examines the family dynamics between this girl and her brother, who have differing opinions about what should happen to their father. Do they take him off life support, or do they keep him on life support? And it was good. It was good. But I generally like Jodi Picoult. I did finish that. Torey Hayden. If you have any interest at all in education, childhood mental health, teaching, social work, I recommend that you grab some Torey Hayden books. She has written many, and Torey Hayden is the reason I became a teacher. I read her books as a high schooler, where she talked about her life as a special ed teacher. And her books are not fiction. They're pretty much memoirs written from her point of view. I do believe she has 3 novels, but it's what made me want to become a special ed teacher. And this book is newer. It's 2019, and it's her trying to help this little girl who is filled with rage, who has many behavior issues, and who lies about everything. Everything that comes out of her mouth is a lie. And so when she brings up allegations against somebody, her counselor, therapist, Torey Hayden, is trying to get to the bottom of what actually really happened. It's very good. I love the way Torey Hayden writes. It's a very easy read, but it's extremely interesting. And it does help you see things from not just what you're witnessing on the outside of a child's behavior, but what could be going on the inside. Very good book. This one I finished. But I will give a real book review at the end. Here's the other one I bought. I have not started to read it yet. It's called The Elegance of the Hedgehog. It's a New York Times bestseller by Muriel Barbery. And it's pretty much about the residents who live in this apartment building in Paris. It looked good. It looked interesting. It looked a little bit different than what I usually read. So I will let you know how this goes. This also I got at the thrift store for $1.99. And then I got The American Heiress. This is a book by Daisy Goodwin. I have to admit, I liked the cover. I liked how thick it was. I like historical fiction. It's one of my favorite things to read. I wanted a historical fiction in this group of books for January. They said they compared it to Downton Abbey. I've started it. I'm like probably a quarter of the way through. I don't love it, but I'm hoping. I just keep plugging away. I just keep plugging away at it, hoping that I will love it. It's a reading group gold selection. I never really pay attention to these reading group questions. It reminds me too much of when I was teaching reading. And someone had asked me in the comments in the last video about my experiences teaching, and I will save that for another video. But one of the things that I did as a teacher, I had to teach reading, English language art. I had to teach English language arts. I had to do it the way school wanted me to do it, and the way the state wanted me to do it. Especially further along in my career, because I taught for 32 years. But teaching English language art, I know, did not impart a love of reading to the students in my class. I know it didn't. What did, though, was after lunch every day, we would come back from lunch and I would choose a book, a chapter book, and we'd turn off the lights. And I would read, and I would let the kids draw or doodle or just sit there. And for at least 15 minutes, we just read. I didn't ask them questions. I didn't grill them on what they think was happening. I didn't do vocabulary study. We just read. And sometimes a child would put up their hand and want to talk about the book. It got to the point that kids would be bringing me books from the library saying, will you please read this to the class? I love this book. And that was my way of imparting the knowledge that reading can be fun. It's relaxing. It's like a movie. It's not just read this and answer this question. It's not constantly analyzing the book. So as a teacher, that's what I did. It was my favorite part of the day. And for most of my classes, it was their favorite part too. So anyway, this is my January book haul. When I'm done reading, I will let you know how I like them all. Also, videos coming up. I have a reading journal video planned. And I think I am going to do a short for the book club that I'm in. So you can, not a book club, reading challenge. The reading challenge that I'm in. I am also in a book club from the Modern Prairie app, and I have to get the book for that, and once I do, I will share that. So anyway, thanks for stopping by the Library Mouse, and I hope to hear from you soon.